Title: Princess Leonor cried before saying, "I do." The cathedral was silent. The world was watching. The future Queen of Spain stood before the altar, her hands trembling slightly as the weight of her destiny pressed upon her. Then, just before she said the words that would change her life forever, tears filled her eyes. Princess Leonor, strong, disciplined, and royal by birth, cried. And in that moment, Spain saw not a monarch, but a young woman overwhelmed by love, pressure, and something much deeper. What happened in that moment shocked everyone in the cathedral, and moved millions watching around the world. Because behind those tears was a story no one had ever told. For weeks before the royal wedding, Spain buzzed with anticipation. Every newspaper headline, every television broadcast, every conversation whispered her name. The wedding of Princess Leonor, the future queen, was not just a celebration of love, but a national event. Every detail was dissected, every decision analyzed. Who would she marry? What would she wear? How would she handle the weight of being both a bride and a symbol of the future? But what no one saw was the emotional storm building inside her. Behind the palace walls, Leonor faced the hardest days of her young life. Planning a royal wedding is never just about love. It's about image, tradition, expectation. Advisors dictated details, committees debated the guest list, and royal protocol overshadowed her every choice. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone wanted to shape the wedding. Everyone, except Leonor, seemed in control. And yet, through it all, she smiled. Calm, composed. But those who truly knew her, her sister Sophia, her mother Queen Letizia, saw the quiet tension behind her eyes. The feeling of a young woman torn between duty and desire. It all began a week before the ceremony. Late one evening, inside her private quarters at Zarzuela Palace, Leonor sat alone by her window. Outside, the city lights of Madrid flickered like stars. On her desk lay the vows she had written, and rewritten, countless times. Every word mattered. Every sentence had to balance royal formality with her deepest feelings. But something was missing. That night, her mother entered the room quietly. Queen Letizia, graceful as ever, placed a hand on her daughter's shoulder. Leonor looked up, her eyes heavy. "I don't know how to do this," she whispered. "How can I promise to love someone for the rest of my life, and promise to serve a nation at the same time?" Letizia smiled gently. "You don't choose between them," she said. "You carry both. Just like I did." Those words stayed with Leonor. Through rehearsals, through interviews, through every sleepless night leading up to her wedding day. When the morning finally came, Madrid glowed beneath a golden sky. Crowds filled the streets. Bells rang across the city. Inside the palace, Leonor prepared in silence. Her wedding gown hung delicately by the window, shimmering in the soft light. The room was filled with stylists, attendants, and photographers, but for a brief moment, she asked to be alone. She walked to the mirror and stared at her reflection. The future queen, the symbol of Spain's new era. But in her reflection, she saw something else, her younger self. The girl who used to ride horses with her father. The girl who laughed with Sophia until midnight. The girl who once dreamed of love without crowns, cameras, or politics. Her hands trembled, and for a moment, she felt the tears threaten to fall even then. But she took a deep breath, placed her hand over her heart, and whispered, "For love." For Spain. The cathedral was packed. Heads of state, royal families. Every camera lens fixed on her. As she entered, the organ music filled the air, majestic and solemn. Yet among all the grandeur, her gaze searched for one person, the man waiting at the altar. The one she had chosen, not because of duty, but because of love. When their eyes met, the world disappeared. For the first time that day, she smiled, not the rehearsed royal smile, but a true, soft smile filled with emotion. But what no one saw, not even the cameras, was what happened moments before she said her vows. As the priest spoke, Leonor's hands began to shake. The weight of it all, the expectations, the history, the responsibility, collided with her love and her fear. Then came the breaking point. The words, "I do," echoed in her mind. That's when her voice caught. Her eyes glistened, and a single tear slipped down her cheek. The crowd held its breath. The cameras zoomed in. King Felipe, watching from the front row, lowered his head, visibly moved. Queen Letizia pressed her hands together, whispering something softly. Even Princess Sophia, sitting beside her, wiped her own eyes. It wasn't weakness. It wasn't nerves. It was something else, pure emotion. The culmination of everything Leonor had carried since childhood. The pressure to be perfect. The desire to be free. The love she refused to hide. After the ceremony, during the reception, one of her close aides revealed that Leonor had almost lost her composure minutes before walking down the aisle. She had stepped aside in the hallway, her heart racing, tears welling up again. Her mother had followed her, and for one brief, private moment, they embraced. Letizia whispered, "You were born for this. But remember, you are still allowed to feel." That moment gave her the strength to walk forward. But when the vows came, the emotion overflowed. Later that night, in a quiet moment away from the cameras, Leonor finally spoke about it. "I didn't cry because I was afraid," she said. "I cried because I understood what it meant. Love is not just a promise. It's a responsibility." Her words struck a chord across Spain. The next day's headlines read, "The Queen Who Cried. Leonor's humanity stuns the world." A royal tear that touched a nation. But behind those headlines was a deeper truth. Those tears connected her to her people. For years, critics had said she was too reserved, too polished, too distant. Yet in that single moment, she showed Spain her heart. And the people saw not a figure of duty, but a woman of feeling. After the wedding, insiders revealed more touching details. During the reception dinner, King Felipe gave a short toast. His voice trembled as he looked at his daughter. "When I saw your tears," he said, "I saw the soul of a true queen. One who leads not by command, but by compassion." The entire hall rose in applause. Even the foreign dignitaries were moved. Later, Leonor and her husband shared their first dance. Instead of the traditional waltz, they chose a Spanish love song, one that her father used to sing to her as a child. As the music played, she rested her head on her husband's shoulder, eyes closed, tears still shimmering. It was peace, at last. But the story of her tears didn't end that day. In the weeks that followed, the moment became symbolic. Across Spain, young girls spoke of her courage. Women admired her honesty. Even skeptics of the monarchy admitted that Leonor had brought humanity back to the crown. And perhaps that was her greatest act as a princess, stepping into her role as queen, to remind her nation that even royalty can cry, and that tears are not weakness but truth. Because behind the crown, the gown, and the grandeur, there was a heart that beat like any other. When Princess Leonor cried before saying, "I do," she did more than marry the man she loved. She gave Spain a glimpse of her soul. She showed that strength and vulnerability can exist together. And in doing so, she reminded the world that even a future queen is human. And maybe that's why, long after the music faded and the cameras turned away, people still remember that tear. Not as a moment of fragility, but as the moment Spain fell in love with its queen.